In life is that people are the X factor. They constantly surprise us, both in amazing ways and not so much. We're Ben and Syya, and welcome to the Gnaw on This Business Bites podcast. This show is all about real life things we all deal with every day, how they relate to business, and how to make some sense out of our daily chaos. Welcome to the show. And welcome back to another episode of Gnaw on This Business Bites. I'm Ben, this is Syya. And my question to you today is, what is the role of a leader? Here's the first thing. We lead people and we manage process. Let's get that out of the way. We lead people and we manage process. My big thing with a leader is a leader's first job, first and foremost, is to groom, create, and develop the next generation of leaders. The second rule of a leader is to sit there and provide people with the opportunity to be great in their own way. That's, to me, as a leader. It's not about the paperwork. It's not about the comfy chair. It's not about the business cards with the fancy title. It's about how do you help other people succeed? Syya, let's gnaw on this.
Wait a second. So if you're like a leader, you don't have peons underneath you to do your job for you? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
We don't call them that. Shh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, we do not have peons.
No underlings? No, gophers?
No. Their job is not to go get your lunch. Their job is not to get your dry cleaning. Their job is not to come into your house on Sunday and clean your apartment.
Then what's the purpose here? I'm confused. I'm really confused. No, I mean, come on, man. Let's be real. I think anyone that's listening to this, and guys, comment away, because I know there's going to be comments.
There's going to be great comments on this one.
And I love that you said it. You know what? Processes, managing processes. Mm-hmm. That is such the critical part. I think in any level of team dynamic, there has to be an understanding that the team signs up for, and it's a mutual understanding that we have an end site goal post somewhere, whatever it might be. Okay, I love my analogy is we're all going to make a basket underwater. That's our end goal product.
There we go.
How is that team going to achieve that? Well, we need people that has I'm an underwater basket weaver, and I don't know what the
you need people who have scuba diving techniques. You have people who can gather the material. You need people up top to make sure that there's safety. There's safety up top. You need somebody who can create the basket design.
And have water.
And water. We have somebody that's going to create the big bathtub of water.
But yes, that's
a big bathtub of water.
What are you implying, young man?
That we have big baskets.
What are you saying?
We have big baskets, so we need big bathtubs.
But that's 100% is we all have roles to play.
That's right.
But do not confuse that the types of roles have diminished their power or their position in the group. And I think that is such a hard thing for people to understand is, yes, there's going to have to be a quote leadership role to kind of make sure things are running smoothly, to make sure that for people above water who are sitting there looking, going, they're not making those baskets fast enough. Tell them to chop it. And then, there's got to be that person to say, hey, people up in the air, nice of you to be able to breathe on your own. We have apparatus here that we got to take into consideration, and maybe the project is slightly behind for XYZ, but you need that person to represent, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean you crack the whip. It doesn't mean that, I'm the leadership. I talk to the executives up here in the air breathing world that you just listen to me and you're plebes, right? I get it. But yet
every single day,
still happens.
It still
happens. That was an extreme example, but it still happens. Why is that? Why?
I've been always a big believer. My friend Peter Britton came up with this saying a number of years ago, and I love it. It's lead from the middle. Some people need a gentle push. Some people need a hand back. But most people just need to know that you're right there with them if something goes wrong. And they know that you're there to protect them and to help them as necessary. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is that a great leader empowers their people. They provide the tools, the training, the belief, and the ability for people to do their jobs that they've been trained to do. You've hired these people. You've promoted these people. You've trained these people. Your job as a leader is to stand back, motivate them, inspire them, tell them where we're going and why we're going there and what that enables us to achieve, and let them figure out how to get there in the most effective way. A manager just says, we're going this way. I need you to go left. No, go right. Go left. No, I need you to go right. Now I need you to go left again. We don't ever need to micromanage people. We don't need to sit there and position ourselves where we put the position of doubt into people's minds. The reason we have micromanagers and the reason that we have this thing is two different reasons. One, we don't train and we don't coach our leaders. We assume when we promoted somebody that they were a great tactician, they're going to make a great leader. One skill does not define the other. We have the Peter principle for a reason, where people are promoted to their highest level of incompetence. And that is because we assume that if you give somebody who is a great tactician, a great salesman, a great marketer, a great operations person, whatever, and you promote them, they're obviously going to be able to teach the people below them to do this. But these people don't have that skill. And they're sitting there going, well, these people don't know how to do things the way I know how to do it. So I'm just going to do it for them, or I'm just going to tell them how I want it done. They don't have the nuance. They don't have the empathy. They don't have the listening skills. They don't have the ability to aspire and communicate effectively. And we need to teach our leaders at all levels, all the way up to the C-suite, how to be better leaders. That's why we need coaches. That's why we need training programs. That's why we need to invest in our people, because our goal is, if we want to become a senior vice president, we need to make sure that we're training the next vice president so we can be promoted. Because if we can't be promoted, if we're essential in our role, we'll never be promoted. So we need to be able to bring the person below us up to our level so we can head to the next level.
And that's a funny thing, but you just said that. Train them up so you're not essential, that you've got someone else that could backfill you. And I know for a fact, people are going to be like, hell no, why would I want to replace myself and get fired and that person just make the transition easier? It's like, then you're not a leader.
You're not a leader.
Let me just be very clear and clean and say this one more time. If you are afraid to train someone up to do your exact same job, then you are not a leader.
Exactly.
Simple as that. And I cannot tell you how much you can literally make or break someone's career experience if you're that bad leader. And it's not a threat. It's a fact. If you suck, someone's going to remember how sucky you were. And they will always remember it. I remember I got thrust into a management role without training, without guidance. What should have been a director, they promoted him because he was competent and moved his, out of the country, and then never backfilled his role. So I ended up reporting to a VP at a company, and I was just an inside sales manager. Can you imagine what a show that was for me? That I was trying. I thought I was doing the right thing. What it was ultimately micromanagement, because I didn't know any better, because I was micromanaged coming up, right? So I thought that was what you were supposed to do. It's so sad to me that I had to go through that experience. And I hate to say it, everyone that was underneath me during that time were like, yeah, that girl's a bitch. Because I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
You didn't know what you were doing.
I still don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, it's a work in progress. You got to consciously understand we're all underwater basket weavers, underwater together. Everyone's got a role. Sure, there might be times where, hey, can I help you? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But usually it's maybe they are overtasked. Yeah. That's your responsibility to notice that as a team, right? As an observer of the bigger picture, you should notice if maybe one team is taxed more than the other, right? And that's, again, the wisdom to say, hey, maybe we can offload work and certain tasks and redistribute the load as a team. Otherwise you're rowing a boat and it's going in circles because only one boat, one side rowing.
Well, and that's why they have the team. If you really want the best definitions of the team, they have everybody sculling together, in the 8. So it's everybody's got the oars dipping at the same time, going the same direction. But that doesn't come without a heck of a lot of work and a lot of motivation and people understanding what are they trying to achieve. And the person who's the leader is this small little guy or girl who's at the very back of the boat, going stroke, 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 and telling people where they are and telling people what they need to do and telling people, and and they're telling these enormous men and women, how to get that extra little bit out of them. And it's all about inspiration. It's not about yelling at them. It's about the inspiration.
So I have to tell you this story because I have to. I used to work at Disneyland.
Yes.
And for the cast members, they had this annual summer thing called the canoe races.
Right.
And so if anyone's been to Disneyland, there's what used to be called Tom Sawyer's Island is now, well, I'm old. So when I was there, it was Tom Sawyer's Island.
I thought it still was, but okay,
is it called now?
Good enough.
No, they changed that up, Sunshine. I think that's where, I don't know.
Doesn't matter. It's Tom Sawyer's Island.
California, correct me. Anyway, so there's Rivers of America. And so we'd get up at like 4:45 in the morning, and we would race each other
around the island
in the morning, like around the island. And it's a canoe race, right? And you just reminded me of, I was a cadence caller.
There you go.
Right. But I was actually in the front. Our guy was steering in the back. Sure. And so what I was doing is trying to keep pace, right? So you stroke, but like you can say stroke. It can sound like for the guys, the rest of the crew that's on there, that's like, stop yelling at me, stop telling me what to do, right? Or you could make it where it's like more entertaining. So you could say stroke, or you could say, like
here
other
we
things.
Come, and just walking down the street singing do a dee 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 dum dee dee doo.
100%.
Exactly.
And that's the whole point. Yes, you guys, stroke has to happen. Stroke. And by the way, I also had another song in my head that I'm not, like if you're in the 80s, you would know. Okay.
We'll leave it alone.
Anyway, yeah. I forgot the dude's name. Money? Anyway.
Money.
So, Eddie Money. So here's the thing though, is we know, like the boat, let's keep with the canoe analogy. We know we're going to hear the word stroke, right? We know that's part of the cadence. We know that's part of our job, but it doesn't have to be so angry. It doesn't have to be abrupt. You can make it fun. You can start singing songs. You can do whatever to make that task that has to be done a little bit more pleasurable.
Oh, yeah.
And that is where a good leader will feel the vibe of the team and understand. Maybe there's a person like I said, the steering person would be someone to guide the leader as well. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is where you lean on certain people that show leadership skills. Like you say, train up your replacement.
That's right. You could have somebody in the middle of the boat that sit there and start, call it out. Steve, call it out. All right. It's your turn now. Go, go, go. And just, build it out. So all of a sudden throughout the entire thing, everybody gets a chance at cadence, along the route. It says you just keep, changing it out.
100%. Oh my God. You just made me remember like literally 25-ish years ago or
so
more.
You were 10.
Oh my God. You just made me cry.
So you were 10. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's let Syya cry and we'll leave it there. We'll let her have a good cry. So I'm Ben. This is Crybaby Syya. And we'll see you soon.
Hey. Thanks for listening to another episode of Not On This, Business Bites. If you liked what you heard, we most humbly ask that you like, share, and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to communicate more effectively within your organization, contact Ben at yourbrandmarketing.com or me at brilliantbeammedia.com. We can help you build your community, brand awareness, and personality through digital content and podcasting. We cannot wait to hear from you. So see you next week for another episode of Not On This, Business Bites.